Hello, I am the cartoonist Rashid. This cartoon was inspired by all the mentions that I've been making about the fact that it was the poor whites' idea to permanently delegate my people to the bondsman class. It was their idea. And the history, like you have to trace the history of the rise of the white people concept in the white racist aristocracy is how they function. Um, Coming together across all ideological caste creed, lines to form the whiteness aristocracy. It happened at the exact moment that they made a decision, formally in law, to make me a permanent slave as the black people in the 1600s. So I reference it a lot, but it occurred to me I don't think I actually did a cartoon like that. So I needed the definitive. Here's the negotiating table with the wealthy dude and them. So this was important because on social media you often see people are like, okay, well, black people are poor. There's the poor whites. Obviously, this is a class thing, and they should it's not about race; it's about class. So these two should come together and for mutual benefit, which of course makes sense on paper, until you find out that was the guy. It was his idea. It wasn't that one's idea. That one didn't care. As long as the work get done, as long as he's able to make his super money, he doesn't care who's doing it. He would prefer people that he could rely on to do it. Which, brings me back to another point that I said I would get back to later. Talking about the mentality of the poor. So there's two types of poor people. There's the ones who just don't know, who are cut off from knowledge. My people perish for lack of knowledge, that concept. And then there's the poor who are committed to being poor. They're like genuinely, quote unquote, don't want shit. That concept is the reason why the wealthy, the people who would become white, the wealthy whites, decided to go ahead and take that partnership with the poor whites and say, okay, we'll permanently delegate the blacks to doing this work because I'm tired of dealing with you. Tired. I want to dig into that a little bit. Let's dig into that a little bit. After slavery, it was the black people, of course, the freedmen, who had all the skills. They were the ones doing everything. It was a free slave economy. You're not hiring very much people. You're not doing a lot of hiring when you got free slave labor. The salary is the biggest cost for any business. Paying your workers is the biggest cost. So a situation where you don't have to pay workers is sweet, which is one of the fundamental conflicts. I'm gonna give that up. Who wants to? That's why American businesses are spoiled as crap right now. I don't want to give that up. 230 years of talking about getting rid of slavery didn't get rid of slavery. All the abolitionist movement and all the speeches with Frederick and all that was a lot of talking. Nobody was getting freed. A desperate war strategy from my president is what freed me. Controversial. Nobody actually wanted him to do it. He was reluctant. He was like, give guns to the slave class. Yikes. He didn't want to do that trash. Desperately, he did it anyway. So, with a lot of money they were making, the entire wealth of the West was built from slave labor. You don't have to pay workers. Come on. Stop being stupid. Companies cut the slightest little excuse And the companies that can afford it most will cut those salaries in a heartbeat and never go back. You know this to be true. American businesses are spoiled because of slavery. They don't want to pay workers. They hate it. They like, oh, if only we had slaves back. Get convict leasing on the phone. Let's see if we can. So, people who don't want anything, people who don't want shit, were jealous of the people who had all the skills after slavery. You don't want shit. You don't want to do the work. You resent people coming into your like cave or wherever you were living, tent city out in the boonies, and snatching you and like making you do some work somewhere. You couldn't stand it. And they couldn't stand you. They hated having to rely on you. And you had the nerve to be jealous of the former slave class. So, with the Bacon-Davis Act and the unions, you schemed and eventually got those skills from my people and took them on yourself. And the language around you is that you are unreliable and that you still don't want shit while you call me lazy. But every other thread argument I am, please keep telling me to read my Dr. Sewell while you conspicuously avoid the hard stuff that he dug up. Piece of crap. Talk a lot of trash with your mess following behind you like a blaring noise. You didn't do a good enough job scrubbing history of your trash to talk the way you talk. Anyway, it was your idea. And the reason we can't have a partnership because that window closed a long time ago. If ever it was open, you don't want shit, and you had the nerve to be jealous of me. Worthless. Enjoy your mush made from cracked corn. Piece of crap. Peace!